and welcome to Soulful. All right. Hello again, and welcome back, or welcome for the very first time. My name is Drew, and this is Soulful. And this episode specifically is the first of 4, which I'm calling the Cornerstones Sessions, where I will be sharing with y'all about the cornerstones. And more on that shortly. But first, I just want to take a little time and space to drop in, give y'all some updates. Yeah, tune in to my own being as well. Feels like a nice way to start things off. We'll ease in to the content. So in this moment, I'm feeling pretty good. A lot better than I have been, for sure. Yeah, the COVID is gone. The Rona is in the rear view. Yeah, feeling a lot better. Same for my pops. Yeah, my dad is back in action at work, doing his things, feeling better. And my mom is just about done too. But she's also had much milder symptoms. I mean, yeah, she's just like unfazed by some stuff, man. Like me and my dad were curled up in balls, sweating through sheets and suffering. And and my mom was out back cutting the grass and doing yard work. Yeah. So, yeah, she's quite the amazing woman. And yeah. And so everybody's feeling good, which helps me feel better about the fact that I gave everybody Corona. Yeah, and we will be officially a Corona-free household in time for a family pool day for the holiday later this week, which I'm super excited about because that was like, a big part of me coming back to Jersey for the summer. I was on social medias in Mexico and I saw pictures and a video of everybody here hanging out by the pool, and my heart just like jumped. I was like, yep, that's where I'm supposed to be. So here I am, and we'll finally get to do some pool day fun. A little delayed, but we're here now. That's what matters. So I'm psyched. Looking forward to hanging out with the Nuggets. I'm also looking forward to hitting a sweat lodge this weekend. Yeah, super excited for that. My first one since I've been back. And I'm definitely overdue. I can feel it. Yeah. Going and doing the sweats. It's like taking out the trash on a certain level of my being. And so I can feel there's some trash to be taken out. So looking forward to the sweat this weekend. Also finally made a meeting. My first one since I've been back. That was awesome to plug back in to the recovery scene here in Jersey and see some familiar faces, some folks that have played really crucial roles in my journey. And plus, even with 18 years plus in the process, if I go too long without a meeting, there's a a slowly creeping insanity that starts to become a little more pronounced. And so it was nice to get into the meeting and share and listen, and do what we do and get some sanity back at the center of my being. Yeah, and so I'm feeling good. All right, health, family, friends, recovery. Not a bad life. Not a bad life at all. And then on top of all that, we got the book coming out, which I'm so, excited, happy, full. Yeah, this has been a long time in the works, many years in the making. But we're here now. I got to see the final cover, like the front and back cover, and yeah, the final formatting stuff. And so the book is ready. Mark your calendars. Tuesday, July 9th. The Cornerstones, Investing in Authenticity, will be available for purchase online via Amazon. Yeah, and I think we're going to do like a half price for the first, 24, 48 hours maybe. We'll see. That's yet to be decided, but I was thinking it might be cool to chop the price for the first day or two and encourage folks to buy a copy or two. Because then it makes me look fancy too, if if a bunch of people buy copies of the book. So if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, go ahead, do it. Help me look fancy. But yeah, super excited to finally be sharing the book with everyone. And so it feels super timely to then jump into the cornerstones here over the next couple episodes. And so that's what we'll do. And the game plan, yeah, we'll give you that. And then we'll drop into some of the content for this episode. Yeah, once I'm done here in this episode with the introductory ramblings, I will then slide over into story time and give you some of the background and introduction to the Cornerstones. And then that'll set up nicely for next episode, where we'll do the first and second Cornerstones, followed by the one after that, where we'll do the third and fourth episodes. The third and fourth Cornerstones. There you go. And then we'll wrap things up with the fourth and final episode of the Cornerstone Sessions, talking about the synergistic magic of the whole system. And yeah, and whatever else feels good. Yeah, and then we'll wrap it up nicely. And that will be the Cornerstone Sessions. So there's your game plan. A little bit about me, where I'm at. All right, cool. Yeah, it feels good. So let's begin with a story about a man. About the universe that thought he was a man. Yeah. So let's take it back. Boop, 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 boop. That's me putting in the coordinates in the time machine. Let's take it back to, let's go January 2022. Yeah. And at that time, I am just landing into Playa del Carmen, Mexico for the first time. And I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in, like kind of raw, kind of broken open, because I spent the last, what was it? Yeah, I did a 2-week ayahuasca retreat in Peru to close out 2021. And then I spent a week in the Sacred Valley. Yeah, there you go. In Pisac. And I thought I was going to do my post ayahuasca integration stuff in Pisac, but it was cold and the Wi-Fi didn't work and I was in pretty rough shape. So I decided instead to hightail it for the beach in Mexico. And I had done a little bit of homework and found that there was an English-speaking recovery scene. So, yeah. Because like I said, I was kind of busted up and raw. And so I was definitely looking for a community to plug into. And I found it. And yeah, I'll be forever grateful for the recovery scene in Playa del Carmen. Tons of amazing folks, meetings on a regular basis, fellowship all the time. Yeah. I cried in a lot of those meetings. I'm feeling some of the feels right now. Yeah, because that last trip to the jungle was rough. It was the first time I think I thought I should go to the jungle. Whereas like the prior 2 trips were definitely like the universe was like, hey, come on down. So this time I thought I should have went. And it turns out that's a little bit of a different experience. And then halfway through the retreat, I caught the flu from one of the workers there on the property. And in case you were wondering, yeah, it is not fun to drink ayahuasca when you have the flu. So I got wrecked. So I was in pretty rough shape coming out of Peru. Did a quick stopover in Pisac and then headed to the beach where, yeah, it was much warmer. The Wi-Fi worked and the people were amazing, right? The recovery community, they were so awesome. And so I kind of grounded and stabilized in Playa del Carmen for the next couple months there. But then I had enough community to then do some solo time. And so then, yeah, then I headed to Teotihuacan for spring equinox and my birthday. And I've learned this over the course of my journey and my travels that for me, like sometimes I like people and I like being a part of community and other times I do not. Like, yeah. And I used to judge myself like, oh, I should be more of a community person. And then judge myself when I would like isolate or withdraw. But what I've come to understand at this point is that I have seasons. And sometimes I enjoy being a part of a community and being in the middle and fellowshipping and hanging out with people all the time. And then other times, yeah, I don't want to be bothered with socializing. I want to kind of hang out in my own space and vibe. And yeah, well, that's just kind of how I work. And I'm okay with it today, so then it's cool. So, yeah. Because sometimes, I don't know, especially in the recovery world, but really anywhere where you're self-reflective or you're doing some self-discovery, it can be challenging at times to navigate. Like, oh, am I seeking out healthy relationships, or am I losing myself in relationships, or am I avoiding myself in being a part of a community, or am I finding myself in community? And then also the flip side, like, am I isolating? Am I withdrawing? Am I heading in a bad direction? Or am I actually just taking time to enjoy my own space, right? To have some solitude. And I found that you can justify anything, right? Like any of those things can be justified one way or the other, but only by really investing in ourselves and paying attention to our own rhythms and systems do we come to discover what works for us. And so, like I said, for me, I've learned that sometimes I like people and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I want to socialize and sometimes I just want to chill on my own vibe. And so I honor that in how I live now. And also how I travel. Usually I'll plan my trips like alternating with community or without. All right, I'm going to pause here. I see like a path appearing in the woods that isn't the path I originally wanted to be on here. But this is good stuff, so I'm cool with it. All right, let's pull things back to the core story here. So, yeah, plant medicine in Peru, then to the beach in Playa del Carmen, and then arriving in Teotihuacan in the spring of 2022. And this is where I recognized the Cornerstones, where the Cornerstones presented themselves. And so I first heard of Teo from good buddy Lee McCormick, who is currently in Nashville. But he's been around and about, done lots of cool stuff in his life. And I had taken a gig in Nashville to be a part of a treatment center organization. And it would turn out to be the last job I would take in the treatment field. I kind of already knew I was done doing the addiction counselor thing, but this treatment organization had a cool approach that was a little more holistic, and they had sweat lodges mixed into how they approach things. So there was a different vibe to this place. And so I was like, all right, like I'll give it a try. I know I can't do the cookie cutter treatment organizations anymore, but this felt different. And for a little while it was really cool. But then, people buy organizations and then changes are made. Anywho, that's another story. Another story for another time. But yeah, when I was in Nashville at that treatment organization, Lee was a part of that family. And yeah. And Lee's a trip, man. He's a really cool character. And when he would talk about Teo, he would light up. Right? Like I could feel it. I could see it on him, in him. And so my soul knew immediately, like, ooh, this is something, we got to go here. And so that was in like 2020. So I knew I was going to wind up in Teo at some point. And then it just turned out this was that time. And so originally I was going to stay for like a month, maybe max, but I wound up hanging out for 2. And yeah, it was just really like magical, because Teo is this just vibrant, juicy, spiritual, tangible energy place. And it's ancient. Like nobody even knows where it came from or who built it, right? So there's the mystery is part of its essence. And I was living like a 15-minute walk from it. And I would walk over to the complex a couple times a week, and I could actually see the one temple out the window of the second floor apartment I was staying in. Yeah. And I feel myself drifting into like the ethereal as I'm talking about it. So I'm going to try to keep one foot in this world as I talk about Teo. Yeah. Yeah, just the temple complex is amazing. The whistles and the flutes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm struggling to keep one foot here with y'all. What I would say, we'll do it like this. Definitely recommend it. Definitely check it out. Get a taste, get a feel for yourself if you have the opportunity. Teo is about 40 minutes, maybe an hour northeast of Mexico City. So it's an easy trip. It could be a day trip if you wanted. Mexico City's a pretty cool spot too. But for me, I like to go hang out places. So that's what I did. 2 months in and around Teotihuacan. I was actually staying in a small village nearby called San Sebastian. But yeah. Okay, good. You almost lost me to the ethers there. So I'm in Teo for 2 months hanging out. And I had also enrolled in a coaching program. Really, it was like a coaching container for coaches to start that year. Yeah. Like I said, I knew I was no longer like an addiction treatment counselor guy. That became obvious when I was in Thailand in 2020. And then more obvious once I took that last gig in Nashville. So I wasn't what I was, but I didn't know what is or I was becoming. All right. And so I signed up, paid a couple monies for a coaching program container. And I was doing that work and participating in that program while I was in Teo. And it turned out to be a beautiful combination. Because I found out that I'm definitely not a coach. I definitely have no interest in being a part of the coaching world. It feels like, and I'm sure this isn't everybody, but a huge part of the coaching world is just getting and retaining clients. And I found there to be a lot less energy invested in the actual work or the actual services that were being offered. Yeah, I found coaching to be salesy heavy, and that's definitely not my gig. So I was discovering that I definitely wasn't a coach, and I didn't like being in that world. And yeah, I think a mixture of the program and then the energy of Teotihuacan just got me really deeply reflective. And so it's like, all right, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a coach, I'm sort of like a guide, but like, what's that even mean? And so I decided to strip away the like titles and the roles and then focus on, okay, what am I actually doing? Right? Like what is the work that I'm actually doing with folks? And that's how the Cornerstones were recognized or born, or however you want to say it, is when I took away the layer of labels and roles and just looked at the fundamental activities and practices of the work I was doing with folks, what I saw was that it was also the foundation of my own life and my own recovery, right? Like 18 plus years of investing in counseling and 12-step recovery and meditation and yoga and plant medicine and ceremony, right? Like all of these influences and traditions had informed and shaped and created this like basic core that I lived by and continue to live by. And it also was the foundation of the work I was doing with folks. And that was super cool. And so I gave it a name, called them the Cornerstones. And there's 4 of them. And I didn't realize it until later that like maybe the reason I called them the Cornerstones is because there were these giant pyramids I was visiting like weekly, multiple times a week. And so the Cornerstones were born or recognized. Yeah, because the Cornerstones are in no way like something super new or fancy. Like I'm definitely not recreating the wheel with the Cornerstones here. Like I said, it was more I just recognized what was the foundation of my life, my recovery, my healing, and the work I was doing with folks, and then kind of just formalized it and gave it a name. And all 4 of these areas of practice, because that's what each cornerstone is. It's just an area of practice to invest your energy and time and attention in. And so all 4 of these areas are already well known. And as we go through it, a lot of y'all will have experience in each of these areas, maybe individually or a couple of them. But the thing I saw in my own life and the work that I was doing with folks is that these 4 areas were the foundation, but when we invested in all 4 together, there was a synergistic magic that started to open up. And for me, like that's the actual juice that's available with this system. It's all 4 areas and then how they complement and enhance each other. And I'll share shortly here like what the areas are, but we'll stay with the story. So I'm in Teo. I recognize the Cornerstones. I realize, I'm not like inventing or reinventing anything here. I'm really just recognizing what's already been working in my own life. And I put a name on it and formalized it. And that was the beginning of, me really like investing more and more time in formalizing this system that is now going to be a book and I'll be sharing about in the next couple episodes and has already helped, we'll say dozens of people so far. All right, let me pause, check my notes. Yeah, cool. All right, we'll close up this first episode here with this because I feel like this is super important. All right. So the cornerstones are not a theory or a philosophy. All right. This isn't abstract. This isn't esoteric. All right. Like they were recognized in the very ethereal, magical energy of Teotihuacan. But this is a super grounded, practical system for investing in yourself through different areas of practice. All right, so this is something you do. And if and when you check out the book, you'll see it's not a long book because it's not designed to just wow you with ideas. It's designed to give you a structure for investing in yourself. And then you do the work. All right? Because for a long time, like self-acceptance, self-awareness, these were ideas that sounded good. Authenticity. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But like how do you do that? How do you authentic, right? Or like, how do you actually integrate or practice self-acceptance? And so I found it to be a little too abstract, but then it became very clear, like, oh, the cornerstones, like this is a structured framework for investing in self-acceptance, in self-awareness, in self-compassion, right? Like the cornerstones are the how-to for authenticity and self-acceptance. So, so if you want fancy ideas and philosophies, the cornerstones aren't going to deliver that. But if you're looking for a very grounded, practical, accessible, flexible system that can help you structure how you invest your energy, your time, your focus in ways that will contribute to your self-awareness, your self-compassion, and then lead to self-acceptance, right? Like an embodied authenticity. Then the cornerstones are for you. All right. That feels good. So cornerstones come from magic, but aren't magic. They are magical, but they are very grounded and a practical way for organizing how you invest yourself in your life. All right. Anything else here that feels important to share with y'all? Yeah. Again, no theory to buy into. If you invest your energy in these areas of practice, you'll see results pretty quickly. And if you invest in all four of the areas simultaneously, you'll start to see how they complement and enhance each other pretty quickly. And so, I don't have to sell you on anything fancy here. It's more like, are you at a place in your life where you could use something like this? Cool, use it, and see for yourself. Ooh, and last nugget, that this system really, it allows for anybody to invest in it, right? Whether you're brand new or a seasoned vet, right? If you've been walking a path of self-discovery and spiritual awakening for a long time, this is still a cool structure to organize how you're showing up in your life. And then if you're somebody who's brand new, this could be really helpful because it's going to give you a framework for doing things as opposed to just, like thinking things or talking about stuff. So if you're action oriented, the cornerstones are money. Cool. End of my sales speech or sales pitch, whatever you want to call it. But it also feels good to clarify that. All right. Good. So what are the cornerstones, you might ask? Great question. And I will encourage you to tune in next episode to be introduced to the first two cornerstones. That feels like a good cliffhanger there. So we'll leave this episode here at this moment in time, and then I'll pick up at this point in the next episode where we'll chat about the first cornerstone and the second cornerstone. Cool. All right. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate the love and support that folks are showing for the podcast so far. Feels really good to be seen and recognized and appreciated. So thank y'all. And that's all I have to say about that. Cool. So tune in for part 2 of the Cornerstone Sessions if you feel so inclined. Or not, do your thing. Either way, be gentle with yourself and others. And I will see you a little further down the road. Love y'all.